everybody. Welcome to the QuiverCast.
You go left, I go right. Man, this wave is out of sight. Going surfing, going surfing, going surfing.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the QuiverCast today. So excited. My favorite commentator of all time. We have Joe Turpel here. How are you, Joe?
So good, Mike. Thanks for having me back on the show. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, I'm very excited. Thank you for coming back on the show. I really wanted to have you on, especially because it's the 50th anniversary of pro surfing. I'm excited. It's a big time for pro surfing, I believe.
Oh, it's gigantic. 50 years. I guess when you compare it to a lot of sports, it's still maybe in its infancy in a lot of ways, but I think about that, how lucky we are to be able to call up guys like PT and Rabbit and just these icons that are walking encyclopedias and storytellers and lived it. And they're still so available, you know, to educate us on where it was and even give us ideas on where it can go. So yeah, 50 years, man. So much to celebrate.
You've been in pro surfing for a long time. And this year is kind of a big year because of the new kind of changing of the format and stuff. How excited are you? And what do you think is going to be in store for this year?
I think for me, and probably for yourself too, there's always so much excitement after you go through an off season and you start, you know, guessing who's going to be on tour, the new rookies, if people can back up what they did the previous season. There's always going to be this fire up that you have, but I don't know how you feel, but this seems more than ever, you know, with, you know, Pipe Masters being the big major at the end of the year again, that's going to be worth more points. All of a sudden having these press releases just like John's back, Medina's back, Steph's back, Carissa's back. It's just going overload of excitement to get this year started, and let alone being the 50th year. It all seems like the stars are aligning, you know?
Kind of does. That's why I was so excited to have you on. 'Cause you have a little bit more, probably a lot more insight to like what's going to happen. Huge names are coming back. No one knew if John was coming back. There was that talk. I mean, I don't even know if he knew, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? John's got a lot of things planned out, you know, which is what I've learned from knowing him over the years.
Okay.
He's just quieter about how he shares it. And it's almost like the idea with John, oh, is he really competitive? Of course he is. He just shows it differently. And I think he's just that same way with how thoughtful he is with his business, with how he goes about world titles. And for him to take a year off to spend time with his son as the reigning world champ, I think there is going to always be this thing of like, I'm coming back strong. And for him to just take 1 year and he's going all in, gosh, that's one of the most exciting announcements. Joined with Medina, you know, who had his injury last year. And the fun part about those two is, you know, they've always been put next to each other based on when they qualified together as rookies. The goofy, regular, Brazil, Hawaii. You just have so many great, just polar opposite sides. You know, you've got Medina, a superstar in Brazil, knows all the famous, you know, musicians, actors, where my curiosity and excitement is you don't see a ton of surfing from Medina when he's not on tour. You know, you see more of like, okay, his network and how the fun he's having, which is, it could be all planned out that way, where he's not giving people too much. The other side, we're seeing John release clips, you know, up and down the North Shore where you're going, I think that's the best ride I've ever seen, you know? So you've got two of these big giants, both 3-time world champs coming in. And I like how Medina's a little elusive, at least with his surf content. And then, you know, John gives us a little bit more. I think might just be nature. The fact that he lives on the North Shore and the waves have been firing, that could be part of it too.
With Pipe wrapping it up and those names, plus some of the other guys, that's going to be an epic event. And it's worth more. It's 1.5 times worth more, right?
Yeah, and I've never had a season that I can remember where there was an event that was worth more than others. So I'm fascinated by getting to that point of the year. And then we'll be able to really see who's in contention, you know, from how deep that'll go in the rankings. We'll see how the year goes. But 15,000 points on the line compared to a 10,000 point normal regular season event, it's going to be treated the way pipe should be, you know, with this giant point total to attain. And if you are a pipe specialist, you know, you're going to be licking your chops ready to go, you know. I mean, imagine a guy like Baron, you know, for Baron Mamiya, 2-time pipe champ. Now with the movement in the back end of the year, we'll see where the numbers are, but man, what if he's in 8th? What if he's in the top 10, you know, and the damage he could do, he could pull off some heroics for sure.
Yeah. So it's very exciting. I printed off the schedule. Do you want to go through it real quick?
Sure.
Do you mind?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. And what's your thought of what's going to happen? And like, I don't know if you want to try to see the future and who you think could potentially win that event.
Fun with it. Yeah.
You got the Rip Curl at Bell's starting it off, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Who do you think could do very well there?
Gosh,
starting the season off.
Bell's is a great one to talk about for a lot of reasons, starting with the guys' side. It's a wave that makes Jordy look great, you know, especially Jordy coming off his great year. You're looking at Ethan Ewing has made it maybe the best modern day Bell surfer that we have on tour. You look at if it's Big Southern Ocean, you know, John's layback hooks have gotten him a bell, and then the speed of Felipe Toledo and his magic has gotten him a bell too. There's a lot of guys that have bells, you know, that are going to be coming into this event. And so for that one, it's going to be interesting to see who's already, you know, match ready, you know, because it's been the longest off season that I can ever remember. So I'd imagine there's going to be a few people in the mix that are going to try to get their heat strategy going and just maybe be looking a little bit, you know, like not quite in full gear. And then there's going to be some that'll be coming out blazing, you know, and a guy like Italo having a baby in the off season and how fire hungry he is and how special Bells is for him. It's a really hard one just to lock down. But I think if I just do my final answer, sorry about for that whirlwind, Mike, but
nope.
Ethan Ewing, I just think he needs more than one bell. He had the heat last year where he had the whole bluff buzzing, you know, when he was going turn for turn, modern day rail hooks that were so beautiful with continuity. It just, the guy deserves another bell. So I think he's going to be going into that first event as the guy to beat. And women's side, I think Carissa Moore's coming in hot, man. The footage I've seen from her, I talked to her briefly at an event over at Haleiwa a few months back, and there's something just reinvigorated about her, you know, and she's just straight up ripping. So when she comes to Bell's, a place where she's won 3 times, she's going into winning territory. And what do we got? We got Molly Picklum, defending world champ. You know, Katie won the year before. Caroline the year before that. You know, Carissa's coming in blazing, along with the Steph story too. But for me, I think Carissa's going to show up at Bell's and just blow minds.
Yeah. I think Carissa Moore has a hot shot this year.
Yeah.
Of doing pretty well.
Yeah. So Margaret River will be second. Wow, what a classic place. A place you definitely should go visit at some point. Mainbreak is an interesting beast. Just big, open ocean walls. It can be pretty intimidating. It's always got some size. And how wild is it that you've got to hit that finishing section over
scary.
That rock
it
shelf
looks scary.
And bounce off it. Like, that's so gnarly. Yeah. It's been the John and Jack show, right? For many years. Right. And Jack's got him, you know, out there in a couple finals now more recently, but you still got to say John's the best guy on rail at Mainbreak Margaret River. And if we get lucky and move to the box, you know,
I was going to ask you, is the box on again, possibly?
Yeah, everything I know, that it's always going to be that backup option. They're always short windows, but it's always worth it. And geez, it's a huge task for all the staff on hand to shift the broadcast to the other side of the bay. John, you just can't go past him. He's in a league of his own. How fast he surfs. Those giant rail hooks are just unbelievable. Even if it's bigger than like 8 feet, like I don't think anyone's going to touch him. And then on the women's side, that's always a fun one to break down. And I think there's that momentum that you go with an idea when you see someone rip. And I think it's just with Carissa's momentum. Like, she's so good at Margaret River as well. She has close friends there, the Sheridan family. They're going to be happy to have her back in the West. And I think with her excitement of sharing that now with her young family, she's going to start off the year with back-to-back wins.
Wow. Okay. Do you think there is scoring potential for if it's huge in the left out there?
You know what? There's been a couple heats where there's keepers on the left. I think it's always more of a gamble, and it's really depending on swell angle as well. But gosh, there's been a few moments. Italo did a big air there last year, if I remember correctly. A few of the goofies start looking that way. We've had I know Jordy was looking left one year, but it's not like a reliable thing you can count on. With it, a lot of days it's going flat faster than the right. And just with the critical nature of that end section where you're losing water, it's always going to be way more critical and exciting and harder to get a big finish when it's just going flat and out to sea. So I think it'll come down to just swell direction on the day. But there have been moments when that left can give you a score when, top two system, if it's a little sleepy, you don't have priority and you're looking at the left as an option to get you out of jail. I think that's usually when it comes into play,
Okay. Yeah, I like it. Gold Coast, third event.
Yeah, stoked. Man, last year, remember we were at Burley. The sand was gone after the cyclone. And so now the much anticipated wait to get back to snapper at the CT level. Let's hope that finally happens this year. One of my favorite venues on tour by far. It just gives you so much high performance surfing. If it's on, getting barreled behind the rock, the years that Kira's come into play, let's hope for just perfection on the Gold Coast. I think it's going to be a really fun one for the tour and kind of sentimental for Steph Gilmore. As she's back on tour, she'll be home, but also for the younger Aussies and like a Molly Picklum, who hasn't really been able to get a heat at snapper yet in her career. And so for the younger Aussies, the Gold Coast is like the epicenter for high performance surfing these days. And I think for someone like Molly, like if she has a heat where it's like 4 to 6 foot and just doing its thing, that grommet, she's still grom kind of, the world champ, she's going to come to life. So I could see Molly, getting her first win in the season on the Gold Coast. For the guys, I think the Goldie is such a great event to see another Griffin show like he did when he was a rookie, where he got 3 chamber pits at Kira and got a 10-point ride. Since it changed to a Challenger Series, we have been able to see Griff out there at the CT level. So I think for Griffin coming off, runner-up in the world season, I could easily see him on the podium on the Gold Coast.
Put you in a spot. Out of the 3 events, is a 2-part question. One is, which one do you like to surf the best? And secondly, is there a favorite you like to commentate on?
Out of those 3?
Out of the 3, the Australian leg.
I mean, for me personally, surfing on the Gold Coast, it's like sand bottom, just where dreams come from. It does get very crowded. So when I'm there and I'm not working, I'll just sort of try to pick somewhere on the Gold Coast and see where there's less people. And sometimes you get really lucky, and I think sometimes you end up being in the spot. But just being in trunks, warm water, sand bottom, it's like that's just all time. There's really good energy at Bells for calling it because of the history, and hearing Hell's Bells in the morning, you get goosebumps. It's just crazy. And there's stadium seating that are dedicated to the champions that have won Bells. So people will go, I always sit in the Tom Curran section. I always sit in the Damian Hardman section or the Lisa Anderson, so I think that just feels like a gathering of the tribe, and and it reminds me a lot of California. So it feels really, really comfortable and familiar,
Then we go into Brazil. How's that event?
That event is just rock concert on the beach, just loud and rad, Everyone is just passionate about being down there. And I think you probably saw, Cole Hausman win last year. Yes. Or even when he wasn't the favorite for the fans to win a heat, he loved it. It was fueling his performance. It was like a moment where the surfers on tour go, I'm in a stadium. I'm actually in a stadium, and these people are either want me to lose, which I'm going to get fired up on, which happens in all major sports, or they want me
100%.
to win. And when that fuels you, you see some special things happen. And so that one for Cole is a huge memory. And I think now that everyone knows how to embrace that energy and not feel bad if they're not cheering for you, I saw that happen over the years. But I think now these athletes on tour are so educated and they know what brings out the best in their game. And it's just so hard to get past the Brazilian surfers in Brazil. The track record's proven. Felipe Toledo is the king of Rio. He's got 4 wins there. He looks at the crowd to give him energy. You saw Sammy Pupo final there when he was a rookie. And I've never seen him just look back at the crowd so many times in a heat. But you could tell he was tangibly tapping into that source. And then the Yago Dora show. My pick this far out is going to be in that mix. I'm definitely very curious to see how Yago is going to come out as in his first world title defense sort of position, new sponsor on his board, and how different he's going to feel. I think knowing Yago, he's a mellow cat, but he calls himself a surf nerd. He is so into his craft, his game. He stays up late watching footage. And I think it's more than ever. He's just proving to himself all the hard work that he's put in. And so I think that'll be Yago's event again, for his track record and consistency and where he's at, just fueling off that first world title. I don't see him losing in Brazil this year.
Do you think he has a couple more in him at least?
I think so. I think he's getting started. I think he learned a lot from that first world title. It'll be a different format this year. It'll be the long game. And I think it's just a great time for him to showcase it. I don't think he's going to go into this year feeling he has something to lose just based on his personality. Where in history, sometimes the worst year in world champs' career is the year after. That was the case with Potts, Derek Ho. It's like sometimes you finally do it. Adriano de Souza kind of lost steam after his first. It was like you finally do it and you just need a year to give that to yourself to celebrate and enjoy it. But with this long off season, I think Dora's going to be more than ready to grab a win in Brazil.
Yeah.
And then women's side, gosh, Katie Simmers has seemed to have that one on lock, O-side beach breaks, there's, obviously Sakurema's a really different one, but she's comfortable and cruisy there, even with all the loud noise, and she can just find her little rhythm. So I think she's going to get her first win of the season at that event.
And then we go to J Bay, which I think is a lot of people's favorites, a lot of the surfers' favorites.
It's a beautiful, beautiful town. And just the wave itself, I'm a regular footer. I mean, I don't think it matters which way you're looking on that wave. It's just so perfect. And the speed you get on it is always the best part. Gosh, I think for early predictions, it's Jordy territory. I think he goes into the list of, all-time top 3 surfers to ever surf that place. And especially in modern day times, he's at the top of the list. I'm really curious to see how he's going to come out after such a, emotional kind of comeback year.
Kind of a bummer, yeah.
But still not showing signs of ever mentioning the retirement word. So I think J-Bay is a really special one to his heart. He hasn't won it in a very long time. So I'd be really curious to see how he comes out this year. Also, I can't help but think about Connor O'Leary's 10-point ride he got at that wave last year.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite waves ridden of this entire last season. And, for the backsiders there, it was a huge one. He even got barreled in transition. It was really insane. So it would be awesome to see Connor put up a big fight on his event title defense. You look at the women's side with Gabriella Bryan and how powerful she is on that wave. She's close with Carissa. She's going to feel a lot more comfort with Carissa back because since they're best friends, I think she'll feel a lot of good energy looking to defend her title as well.
Then we go to Tahiti, and that's going to be, that's a good wave.
Wow. We might even have to do this call again, Mike, because, we don't have the complete rookie class, locked in yet.
Yes, okay.
That's
at the bottom end. Yeah.
And with Kauli Vost, who's probably maybe top 5 on the Challenger Series at the moment, pipe coming up.
I looked last night and I should have wrote them down. Sorry.
Yeah, oh no, but I'm just thinking there's some outliers of who might be on tour. There's a lot of names too that on the Challenger Series, if I'm not mistaken, right now that are kind of comeback stories, like Jacob Wilcox, like
Yep.
Sammy Pupo's number 2, Eli Hanneman, guys like that. You've got Tia Zabrowski, who's already qualified on the women's side. So yeah, there's some names behind them that are not confirmed yet, but with Cowley Vost, if he can keep his...
He could win it.
If he can keep his... or he can qualify as a rookie, he'll just be going home going, okay, I've had some events. I'm a rookie on tour, but now everyone's coming to my house, and that'll be fun to track that story. And then on the women's side, Vahine Fierro is just so good at identifying the good ones. But I think what we saw last year with Molly Picklum, Katie Simmers, they pushed backside tube riding to a whole nother level.
They were both charging hard.
Charging. And Katie took some beatings in that final, serious ones, and kept trying. And I think that was really spectacular. So I almost feel like it'd be a chance for Molly and Katie to push off what they did last year. And then Vahine being in the mix, it's kind of hard to pick one out of that group because they're really setting the pace, along with Chris Moore, who's put a ton of time in that wave with the Olympic Games. So final answer, probably, gosh, it might end up being another Molly win.
I do like to see the women on that event a lot. I mean, that's the highlight for me because of how they're pushing it.
Oh, charging so hard. It's the time, I think it was really just timing with the Olympic Games being at Chopes and then the CT bringing back the women's event as well. They've put in so much time, even with this long off season. Gabriella Bryan was out there on a strike mission recently. It's amazing to see how quickly the game has changed, and you go into their heats with priority. There's no one out. Gabby got a wave last year and she's like, well, that's the best wave of my life. And when you're that kind of talent, they're going to be saying that's the best wave of my life in heats probably for the next few years. That's just where it's all happening right now. So I'm right there with you. It's thrilling to watch.
Then we moved to Cloud Break, and once again, the women are showing it big time at Cloud Break.
Cloud Break is just Disneyland, isn't it? It's just paradise that doesn't seem real. And with that huge playing field, there's a lot of different moods Cloud Break could be in, but what a block of the year, man. I mean, Tahiti straight to Cloud Break, that hasn't happened in a while. That is going to be a fun back-to-back leg going from Chopes, pretty treacherous and could be obviously frightening. And we'll see how Cloud Break is, but who can handle that wild open ocean type feel. I remember Connor O'Leary made the final there when he was a rookie, and I just loved his read on it, his size. He could shapeshift pretty well for how big he is, and then he can release just the most unbelievable power hacks. And I feel like he really has found his feet. I could see that guy being on finals day at least, if it's pumping. He's pretty underrated, and he could get overlooked as a pick, depending on where he is seating wise when we get to that point of the year. But man, he's really talented. Yago hasn't even had a ton of time at Cloud Break, but he looks great. And then also a guy that really stood out to me in the past out there is Crosby Colapinto, just with his range and how long his rail line is, how powerful he is. He's got, flashes of Jordy, flashes of his brother. He's got a really, really unique style. So I do think it's like Crosby's overdue for a win. I think this is his year to get it done. So let it be Cloud Break. And for the women's side, gosh, with the entire tour there, which will be fun because we just had the final 5 there this past season. Again, hard to say without the entire rookie class, but Sally's in number 2 on the Challenger Series, number 3 maybe. She knows that reef really well. That can end up being an experience type play, with knowing which waves to go on, knowing, where the scoring potential is. So that could be a fun one to see Sally pick up what would be probably her 3rd title in Fiji in her career.
Then we go to the always playful trestles.
Yeah.
So that can lead the door up to the younger guys and gals.
Yeah. Let's see. Who do we have last year? We had Yago went crazy that heat with Kanoa, right? Kanoa was ripping, man. He was going so fast, and then he was so precise with his rails. And Yago did what you'd hope people would do at lowers. You know, he looked like a video game, just blowtail, reverse on the takeoff, snap, full rote, like it was his favorite place in the world. And he always wanted to surf trestles just like that in a CT. And so I think that meant a lot to him. That was a really fun final. For Kanoa, I think he's found a really good kind of connection with his career lately. And last year was a phenomenal season for Kanoa. He fell out of the final 5 in the last event of the year, but I just think he's just that big picture kind of guy, you know, even if he gets left out of a conversation here and there, and maybe just because he's won Karamas and finished runner up in some finals is why he might not get mentioned a lot for wins. But gosh, when he's on, he doesn't make any mistakes. His placement of turns is just perfect, and he'll fin ditch and release where he makes it look really easy, but he's doing really critical surfing, and he can be spontaneous when he needs to, like he was when he beat Medina in the Olympic Games, or when he, had those crazy close decisions against like Ethan Ewing at Bells. You know, Kanoa was the guy to do it. So, you know, his home breaks Huntington, but it really is lowers too, you know, just for growing up. So yeah. I could see Kanoa putting up a big fight to win it this year.
So that'll wrap up the first 9 events, and then it kind of goes, guys and gals will eliminate some.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah. So where do we go from there? Abu Dhabi and Portugal.
Abu Dhabi.
After that, the tour shortens up a little bit, sort of like mini playoff feel. I'm kind of thinking it'll feel like. Yeah. And then everyone gets
that's an interesting
back
one
to pipe. So that will definitely be the focus on the title race with those 2 events. And, you know, with Portugal, you don't know what to expect. It
100%.
could be wind blown, like closeouts. It could be 6 to 8 foot glassy A-frame draining pits, or you could be rushing to the other side of the peninsula. So I don't know if any event keeps surfers on their toes more than that. That has been one of my favorite stops on tour for a long time. Just with the amount of waves on that coastline, being on a peninsula in Peniche, somewhere has good wind. And so even if it's a day off for the event, it's like, okay, let's go explore. Let's go find like an oceanside sandbar, you know, that'll be like 3 to 4 foot and a little runner, and there's no one out, you know? So that is a joy. And I hope the stars align for like pumping super tubes, because when that thing's on, it truly does resemble like the European pipeline. So that will be an interesting one to see who's in the game at that point.
Yes.
It's funny with all these big names. It's so you're going to leave people out, and you're kind of like, how is this year going to go? Is it going to be a Medina season? Is it John's year? Is it, you know, Toledo going to really push for that 3rd world title? Are we going to see a younger guy step up? That's when you know the tour's in a great place, when you're really going, gosh, any of these guys could be catching fire by this point of the season. So it would be a strange year if Medina didn't pick up a win, you know? And so, yeah, I'm thinking we got to get him on that podium at some point, right? Like for Gabriel, he's had a lot of years where, especially when he hasn't had the reps, where he kind of catches fire late. And, you know, he had a lot of those world title runs where we get halfway through the year at J-Bay and then he just snap and he just bulldoze people for months. So he loves Europe. He's won there before, multiple finals. That would be his time to shine for sure, especially to have a good seed heading into the Pipe Masters.
And then Pipe Masters.
Pipe Masters, man. Always my favorite event to call on tour, for sure. And now that it's at the end again is insane. It's been the Baron John story lately. Medina's been out of it. But when you look at the last like 10 years or so, Medina's been more consistent than even John at this wave. And that's just his Terminator fashion of maybe spending the least time in the lineup out of those giants, but still, you know, beating them or making multiple finals consecutively. He loves the place. He surfs backdoor well, you know, for a backsider. He's probably thinking about this time in his career, and, you know, his third world title was, back in 2021, and so
Yeah, it's been a bit.
he's got to be kind of thinking, let's go, let's do this. If I'm going to get a fourth, this should be the season. So I have a feeling Gabriel's going to do everything in his power to not just be in it, but sort of upset the narrative of, the John Barron story, which will be highlighted, obviously. But I think Gabriel's going to be that perfect kind of dark horse underneath it all. If you call him one, he's a pipe champ, but he could sort of change things around especially when everything's on the line.
And Italo's kind of a madman there.
He's a madman, yeah. And he's one of those guys that has been a little bit harder to predict. When he won that world title and beat Medina to win it in 2019, he was just a wrecking ball. No one could touch him. Olympic gold in Japan. He was signing up for events he didn't even have to do, and he was winning them. He just was smoking people for a long period of time. And then he kind of went through an awkward moment where he was tough for him to get outside of a 6'5" or a 7. Had to dig deep to find it. Almost found himself falling off at the midseason cut. So he's had more changes in his life, which I think are good, especially becoming a dad and having that purpose in your life. I think that's going to be a really, really great change for Italo into this season. And he's always a little bit harder to put my finger on, of what we might see. The guy is one of the hardest working athletes on tour. You see that by his workouts and how badly he wants it. I'm really excited to see the first few events and see how he fits into the mix.
So this is a big year. I mean, I'm more excited this year. I mean, every year I'm excited about pro surfing and the new season starting. But this year I feel pretty pumped up. Maybe it's that gap of not seeing a CT event for so long.
Oh, definitely.
Because usually, so, I mean, it's probably good for you. How's the break been for you?
Oh, it's been amazing. I've never had a break like this in my career. Or my life, really. It's funny when you have such a rhythm of getting on a plane, even if they're 2 weeks apart, whatever. There's always this like calendar, of like, there's a trip about to happen, and I haven't gone anywhere, Mike. Yeah, it's been really cool. I'm getting my chores done.
Okay.
Surfing, which is really fun to be surfing a lot. So yeah, for me too, all of a sudden I have this fire burning of like, I think it's time to get on the road. Let's get this thing started.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Has it been hard actually staying home?
You know what?
And just kind of relaxing some breaths?
For sure. There's been days where I think it's like a total different thing. It's probably, I don't know, if like certain jobs might relate to it when you're kind of always leaving or going and you like have this thing you're preparing for. And when you don't, you have to give yourself permission to like surf all day. And I think I got better at it as the season went on, the off season. I was just like, okay, yeah, enjoy it, surf, maybe try golf, even though you're terrible at it. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Just being present with the family has been the best part, and just being there for all the big moments. The other part of the job is I miss a lot of things when I'm gone. So it's been fun just being home around the clock, drop off, pick up at school, check the waves, and get a little work done here and there. So yeah, it's been awesome.
Do you take time off from like not knowing what's going on social media or what's going on in the surfing world, or are you still all in it?
I do. I have purposeful breaks from social media. I feel healthier, I think, when I'm not on it all the time. It's an amazing tool for my job.
Yes.
Knowing what everyone's doing and you find out so much information. So it's like, I know I always will use it and really take advantage of what it does bring, but I think there are huge advantages of just completely turning it off. And I'll take it off my phone, and then I'll just put it back on, even after a few days. It's weird how cool it is. You have, dude, I'm actually living in my world and not so distracted with everything else happening. And I think that I found that's been really healthy. Like, I don't think I've posted anything in like months, and it's just kind of nice, like once the tour gets started, I'll get a little more active, but I don't know. Maybe it's just growing up. I just don't feel like I need to be on there that much.
That's cool. I will say, I went deep. I went to the bottom of your Instagram before talking to you, and you've had fun your whole life. You can see it in your Instagram, even when you were getting like 6 likes back in, I don't know, was 2011 or whatever it was.
Oh, you went deep, Mike. Yeah, that's awesome.
I went super deep. There was a great picture of you. I think it's at like Gaviota with your buddy. I don't even know who it was.
Oh,
and you guys are
classic.
having a beer, and you're just like so happy, like you have this weird look. Anyhow, I thought it was fun that you've had fun with social media all these years.
Oh yeah, it was funny. Kind of like no one really knew what it was, and then now it's like memories. Now you like go back. It's like the old photo albums you'd have at your house when you were a kid. Now you're like, oh, it's just all there. All these memories.
It is all there.
And people talking to you and relationships that you've built based on it. Like for me and you, Mike, like there's a friend of mine, this guy, Chris, who lives in Canada, and he hit me up, years ago, and just was talking about surf stuff. Since then, I've met his family when they did a trip to the States.
That's so cool.
I think those are the beautiful parts of social media. You know, how you can be reachable in a really good way, and you just got to balance it. If you feel yourself doing those doom scrolls too long, like, okay, turn it off, take a break, and you feel cleansed. It's great.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. We never talked about it, but how stoked and congratulations on your Emmy win or being a commentator. So that's so awesome. How does that feel?
Oh, crazy. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, it's I think my favorite part about that whole thing is actually when they came in the mail and they come in these cases and you take out the trophy and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, that's a pretty cool looking trophy. And my family was like taking pictures with it, and the look on their faces was definitely my favorite part. Just like they were so stoked. And that was, I'll never forget that. That was like the moment for me of like getting a message, oh, you got an Emmy or you got 2 Emmys. And then when they came in and then I saw my family's face, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
As you're traveling the world, right? Like, how did you have to learn the different cultures of all these different places you're going? Was it hard? Was it fun?
Oh, yeah. It's such a fun part about the tour. It's one of the best things, to be honest. Like sometimes you don't remember all the details or the heats you called, but you remember the culture and the people, and it comes with you. All of a sudden, I think it was really cool for me to realize I had friends that are family in like Australia, in Brazil, in Portugal. You're going, that is the craziest gift that this tour has given me. I think my favorite part about traveling is learning what's different, how you guys live life, how, what kind of food they're eating, just their personalities, what drives them, their sense of humor. I have a bad habit, Mike, of going to Australia and I stay with my buddies that are Aussies and I start speaking with an Australian accent like by day 2 and they're just like, enough. And I get a kick out of it. And when I'm in, El Salvador, I am trying my hardest to speak Spanish, and we're lucky to have Mitchell Salazar at that event all the time.
Yeah.
And he's like my teacher, and he forces me to practice and get uncomfortable, and we'll be ordering food. And he's like, you can do it. And it's really fun. I embrace it. My Portuguese is getting a little bit better. Guys like, Iago are so helpful. Felipe, I've learned if Italo teaches me a word, I've got to run it by some people first because I might not be appropriate. But yeah, it's the best, man. You start looking forward to like the farofa when you go to Brazil, and the rice and beans and the Brazilian barbecue, and then same for all the countries. You just can't wait. It's really fun.
Going to Abu Dhabi, that's kind of a different compared to what you've been doing all these other years.
Yeah, and that's what makes those new ones so exciting. It kind of reminds me of, remember like the Rip Curl Search, where all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, where are we going? And like there's an event in San Francisco, it was a blast. And then Puerto Rico, where there's something new coming up. And yeah, when Abu Dhabi came up, you're going, no way, there's going to be a CT event in the Middle East. That is unbelievable. And to go there this past year, it was amazing. We went right after Pipe and we just saw a whole new world, a whole new culture, and these people that are all of a sudden psyched on surfing, which is the coolest thing, how it's reaching people, in the Middle East. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was accepted then.
Yeah. Kanoa one day surfed a beach break near Dubai and in the ocean and got some waves, and Usually in those places that don't have tons of coverage, there's like local surfers that, oh yeah,
Wow,
we're surfing this beach break a little bit. And now there's surfers that live close to the wave system in Abu Dhabi, and they're getting their regular reps in and then taking surf trips to ocean waves and learning about that too. So I got a kick out of meeting some of the locals in the Abu Dhabi pool that were there to watch the best surfers in the world compete. And a lot of them are now friends with the best surfers because they'll be like, hey, check out this restaurant here, or let's go up to Dubai. We'll show you around. And they're really welcoming and just have a warm spirit. So it was fun when you just go through these surf worlds that have just been around since forever, and you just kind of break ground in like a new spot where at first you're like, do I look funny holding a surfboard in this hotel? Like, but and then all of a sudden it's like normal, kind of how we felt in Lemoore, California, when you just had your board bag in the middle of California and everyone's like, what are you doing here? And then now it's like a full thing, it's cool how surfing can reach people without a, world-class like coastline,
You mentioned like different foods. Is there a spot that you like the best? Is there a spot where you're like, you're not sure what you're trying? And
yeah, there's I love eating food. It's hard to get past Margaret River.
Okay.
It's so good, man. Like even the competitors area is like the finest dining you'll eat all year. It's so distracting when you're in the booth and it's lunchtime and you're not on break yet. You smell like lobster and steak. They're doing like surf and turf for lunch,
Wow.
And everything's local. It is so good. I'm talking about food now, and I'm doing a fast actually right now for 5 days.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, yeah. But that place is just unbelievable. But yeah, when you travel, I think you got to take chances. I remember when I lived in California, I would just go to Baja all the time. And my Mexican friends, we'd go to a taco shop, and they're like, okay, we'll pay for your lunch, but you can't get carne asada. You can't get pollo. You can't get pescado. You've got to try something on this side of the menu, and it was like taco de lengua or like cabeza, like all these other ones. And I was like, oh, can I just do my side? And then I'd try something new and I'd be like, that actually wasn't that bad. I remember just taking chances with it. I'll still do that here and there. If I see something on the menu, got to go for it. Like, I've done the whole escargot thing in Europe, and it's not my favorite, but I just got to try it,
So you give it a go. That's good.
Give it a go, yeah.
You've flown all over the world. What has been your like worst, longest layover? Have you ever been like left behind, missed a plane, and stuck for days or anything?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Where do we begin? Wow, there was one not too long ago. Do you remember the year where G-Land was on tour just a couple years ago?
Yes. Like 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, not too long ago. The travel in airports that year was crazy. More cancellations than I could ever remember. But you kind of knew what you were in for. It was happening a lot. There's a block where we went to G-Land and then to El Salvador and then to Brazil. So it was a huge block where we were on our third event of just being on the road. And we left Brazil to the airport and there was traffic. We got there. We boarded the plane finally. We were stoked we got on. But then we got the announcement like, hey, it's going to be another hour. And you're just sitting there. We haven't taken off yet. Everyone's pretty gassed because it's been a long leg. Kind of falling asleep, wake up. Oh, we're still haven't left. And then we were sitting on the plane for about 4 hours. They make an announcement that we got to get off the plane. And we have to go get our luggage. It's now like 1 a.m. And they had a line of like little yellow taxi cabs just whipping up and taking one person at a time. I was like, are we going to run out of cabs? There's just this line of yellow cabs picking up every passenger, whipping us to this hotel that was super far away. So the sun's already coming up. And then there's a line out the hotel door of everyone that was stuck on this plane trying to get their room. And I got to the party a little late and I was like, oh no. And I just laid on my board bag and was there till like noon. And then finally got the room. And we only had like 2-3 hours till we had to go back to the airport and do it all over again, And so I went in the room and I was like, oh, well, this is silly. Like, and then we wandered around, got some food, and then the cabs were coming again, and we're like, oh no. And like whipped all the way back to the airport. Plane got delayed again. That one was brutal. We ended up leaving in the middle of that night, but just how long that layover felt, because you couldn't really like dust it off. I've had cancellations where you get to move on, like, and travel through London for a day because you know you can't go anywhere, but that one was still like hanging on to you because you had to like keep moving and make your flight. That one hit us pretty hard. But yeah, this past year was a lot smoother than a lot of years in the past. You're just always hoping for the best, you know.
Yeah. Have you missed like a time to be at work or to do the commentating?
I did once. Gosh, this would have been 2017, France. I just became a dad. I was doing dad stuff. We were in San Clemente at the time. We were visiting my mom, and I was going to leave from there to go to the airport. I had to rush out at like 3, 4 in the morning to look. I can't even remember what I was looking for. I think my daughter wasn't eating at the time, so we were kind of nervous. And then I was leaving that day, and so I was rushing around the stores. Nothing's open. And then some friends in the area ended up helping out. But I like got back, and then I was just jammed to the airport, missed my flight. And then this new person at American Airlines was like, don't worry, I'll book you for another one. You'll still connect and make it to what I was like, oh, thank you so much. She rerouted me to Miami, and I'm in the air going, there's no way I'm going to make that next flight she booked for me. I'm still in the air. And so I got to Miami, and they're like, oh, that thing left like an hour ago. So she kind of booked the wrong thing. And then I was in Miami going, I'm not going to make it. And like called work. It was like, hey guys, well, this is what happened. And so overnight, I get to Madrid the next day. First heat gets called on. Keanu Singh, I think, was in that heat. Karen Perot was the commissioner at the time. And it was the most wild thing ever because they did the morning show. Pete Mel was like, Joe will be here tomorrow or something like that. Yeah. And then they called the contest off after one heat. And so I only missed a heat. But
well, there you go.
Yeah, I was like watching going, oh man, I feel terrible. I missed like my job, and only one heat ran, and I showed up later that day. So
are most connections smooth?
Yeah, you know, you could get on a run of having some good ones. Yeah, those ones don't happen all the time. And gosh, you have events where you don't have your clothes, your luggage gets lost. That happens, you know, usually in Europe. Happened to me in El Salvador one year. I was buying like $7 tank tops from the just like the alleyways and stuff, which is kind of cool. I still have a couple of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's rad. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
What do you do for entertainment on the flights and these hotels? Are you like reading books or watching movies or?
I'm pretty weird, man. Like I will get on a flight and I try not to do anything. So I usually eat before. Okay. And I'll sit there, and sometimes I could just fall asleep. And I'm kind of like clearing my mind. So it makes people uncomfortable because they're like, go watch a movie, like and I'll just like sit there. I won't even put my seat back if I'm like comfortable, and I try not to fight it. And sometimes I'll just fall asleep. That's right. Sometimes when I try to do too much, then I'm kind of up. So my first goal is to see if I could just sleep on the flight. I don't care what time it is. You time travel if you're asleep. So if I could do that, I'm pumped, and I just won't touch a thing. And then if I'm kind of up and I'm not going to fall asleep, then I'll just watch some movies, music. I'll write a little bit. I've been trying to read more books lately. So I always have a book with me, but sometimes a plane doesn't really make me feel comfortable to like lock in to that space. Sometimes it does, but yeah, first option is always just staring at the seat in front of me. How weird that sounds. It kind of works for me.
Yeah, it's your off time though.
Yeah.
So take advantage of it. What other sports do you follow? Do you follow any other sports?
I do, yeah. I'm a Dodger fan. My grandpa passed that down to me, and so yeah, I've been a Dodger fan for life. I grew up playing baseball, so that would be my favorite sport, and it's been a lot of fun lately with having such a good team.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, got to go to a couple of games this year, which was really fun. I like to watch a lot of football, play fantasy football. I have weekends where I'll miss all the games, and then some where I like this past playoff weekend, I didn't miss any, but I'd say once baseball season's down to crunch time, like I'm just inhaling it all, and then
You're all in.
Yeah, all in. And it might be different this year because typically the playoffs were always when we were in Europe, you know, in October, September. Now that schedule's back, it'll be hard again because this guy, Davey Shipley, used to be a judge for years on tour. He's a Dodger fan as well. And we'd be like in France and Portugal, like going, did you stay up for that game? And I'd be like, I tried. And like, but we'd be a mess on the broadcast if we didn't go to bed. So
of course.
Lately it's been nice because I've been able to watch it all since the tour's been ending in September. But I'll have to get creative this year.
Have you ever thought about commentating for another sport?
Oh, yeah. I've always kind of had that in the back of my head. And I think the first one that pops up would be baseball, since I think that's the one where I at least have a good foundation in it of playing in it and understanding, you know, most of the game pretty well. Every broadcast you got to study. So I think it would be a fun project to try. Well, I went to UC Santa Barbara, and one of my teachers was like trying to get me to do play-by-play for a minor league team. And I had some conflict, and I think that kind of sparked it from back then. And I've always had it in the back of my head. I think the minor league schedule and the major league schedule, for that matter, are pretty much in our primetime season for surf on tour. So it's always kind of stopped there. But one day I'd like to try it out, you know?
Yeah, that'd be cool. But this is from my wife, and she wants to know, you dress very snazzy, she says, on the broadcast. Are you dressing yourself, or do you have a wardrobe?
Both. The answer is both. Yeah. So there are some events where it's all mapped out for you, you know, and
got it.
They have a clothing sponsor that gives you, you know, something to wear every day. And then there's some events, like, say, if the event's like the Corona J-Bay Open or something, and there isn't like a clothing brand on it, then it's kind of up to you to see what you've got in your closet and try to put something on that's not going to look flat on camera or not bright. And so, yeah, I've got quite a collection of Aloha shirts. You know, there are, I just give them away, and I still have more than I can count over all these years of working events and getting another one. And if I like it, I'll keep it. And then if not, I give it away to friends. Man, I still have way too much, but yeah, I wish I could take all the credit for it, but you tell your wife that they usually have someone taking care of it for us. Yeah.
If you're dressing yourself, are they double checking you?
Yeah, yeah. They'll kind of be like, "That's a good one. You got to iron that, Joe. Come on," you know. Yeah, they're pretty cool. It's as long as you know get up and look the best you can. I think they're stoked. Yeah.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming on the QuiverCast. Very exciting year coming up. When everyone's locked in on who the rookies are, that's going to be pretty awesome. I'm excited. So, yeah, I guess you couldn't answer all the questions because there's potentially a new guy coming up to win an event or two.
Yeah, as it gets closer to, and we see more clips and you get a feel of how, you know, the guys are, especially when your feet are on the ground. That's when you kind of, even a conversation in the airport, you're like sitting with Felipe and you're like, ooh, he's going to win. You could just tell sometimes.
Really?
It's fun. You kind of go, oh, I've got a good feeling. Or it's usually when you watch the warm-ups too, you see someone, someone's got a good board. That looks good, you know? And a lot of times that'll take them a long way. So yeah, once we get close and then we know the rookie class and who might be coming back for the tour, let's figure it out again. Let's make more predictions.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm so happy you came on. I really appreciate it. I know it's your time off, so I'm hoping everything's having like good times and spending time with the family and all that. So that's pretty awesome.
Stoked. Thanks, Mike.
All right, everybody. So this is Mike and Joe Turpel, and we are out of here. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks so much, Mike. Have a good one.
You go left, I go right. Man, this wave is out of sight. Going surfing, going surfing, going surfing with friends. Ride this wave to the shore. Paddle out, I'm gonna catch 10 more. Going surfing, going surfing, going surfing with friends. I don't care if it's wrong or right. I'm gonna do it all day, I'm gonna do it all night. I'm going surfing. going surfing. Going surfing with friends. Watching up on my way. It's a beautiful day. I'm going surfing. I'm going surfing. Going